So if you can relate to any of those positions, I want to let you know that you are not alone. So many of us can be quite flexible or have limited control in certain areas of our body. And we generally don't realize it's a problem until we start to experience some pain or discomfort. And then it becomes more apparent that, hey, I need to do something. So I used to hyperextend my knees a lot. I used to have a lot of back pain. I had no idea of my posture, how I was holding myself. The good news is that, well, some of these areas about me will always be there, but for the most part, I have a lot more control, awareness, and strength, and I'm less likely to collapse all the time now. So the good news for you is that you can apply these changes in your own body, and this will help you feel more stronger, feel more confident, and importantly, prevent against pain, because we all do not want to be in pain. And over time, or just occasionally, if your body just has one of those days where it just feels like relaxing, let it. Because we don't want to force our body, but we want to encourage positive change. And with that, it will just have this flow-on effect for our whole system. And no one can be perfect. So I think that's really important, because a lot of the time we feel like once we find out something is weak, if we don't strengthen it right away, and if it goes backwards sometimes, a lot of us can just be really hard on ourselves. But it's totally normal to have a little bit of imperfection and know that you are still making progress, even if it's not 100% all the time. Like if you can't maintain a position 24/7, but you can maybe do something strongly 80% of the time, that's still something, and that should be something you're proud of. So I'm gonna share with you some exercises that really help you gain more core control. And when we have more core control, this just helps our overall strength and pain prevention inside of our body. So join me now. We're gonna do some exercises. All you need is a mat, a good attitude, and let's do it. So the first exercise we're gonna do is the bird dog. Now, if you've done the bird dog before and you think, I already know this, I'm just gonna fast forward, please don't. Let me share with you something that a lot of us that might have hypermobility or a lot of flexibility in our hips or our back, there's a little something that we do that just needs a little bit of awareness, and this could be a huge game changer for your stability in your whole core, 360 degrees, your booty muscles, so like we wanna pay attention. And that is when we go into the bird dog, we first wanna make sure that we are neutral spine. So that means we're not going to tuck under. If you have a lot of hypermobility, you might have tight abs, okay, just in general. Maybe it's more the right side, maybe it's more the left side, who knows, but let's just keep it simple. You want to ensure that your butt is free, okay? And then from here, bring your legs in a little bit closer together, and I'm gonna get you to very carefully remove one leg from your body, or so just bring it out like that, and then lift up, and don't go so high. Then you can flex your foot. You might need to do that, especially if you have high arches. I'm going to encourage you to flex your foot, give those calves a bit of a stretch, and then lift one arm. Now you might think, oh, I already know this, but please, please, please listen, okay? I want you to make sure that when you're kicking out, that you are not rotating out like this. It is actually really hard. I have to put a block for most of us on our back to make sure that we can actually be nice and controlled. And thinking about going straight back, like is your heel pressing back? That's hard, because a lot of the time it's not. Or we might feel our thigh is rotating outwards. And if I had a glass of wine on my back here, it would just completely fall over. So making sure that everything is square, super important. Holding here, being able to breathe in and out through the nose, nice and relaxed. This is your core working 360 degrees, stabilizing you. Don't worry if your arm doesn't go up super high, even if your arm only goes out here or there, wherever, just work where you can here. And for your knee, if your knee hurts, make sure your weight is below the kneecap, not on the knee. Notice that? That tiny difference is going to change your whole life. Okay, and then take a break. Now, you're going to then make sure you practice that on the other side. You'll notice the right side or the left side might be totally different. The next thing I'm going to share with you is the downward dog. That's downward dog. So with the downward dog, most people, like the whole internet, does it like this. Okay? So many. And they just think, oh yeah, getting my calves on the floor, but this is only tightening up my core more, preventing my spine from doing a bit of stabilization work. So what we want to do is not be so hung up on getting those calves to touch the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to, because we're going to prioritize your bum, your lower back, okay? So that means that you start neutral. From here, if you want, you can extend your legs, then bend the knees, and you can create a nice long down dog, and your pelvis is happy. Notice I've got that bend in my knees so my bum is happy. I'm not tucked under like that. And that will happen for a lot of us with tight calves if we try to do a downward dog to get our calves down to the floor, or in this case, as close as I can go. Maybe I'd have to go a bit closer. There you go. That's how close I'd have to go to get my calves down. And look at my core, look at my back. I'm really rounding there. I want to work on trunk stability here. So working on that trunk stability, bum is happy, bum is free, and then just breathing and chilling. And then if you want to have a bonus point, can you look at your toes? Are they directly going straight? Good. And then coming back down. There are other little tiny details that we can workshop to improve if you feel restriction, but just starting with this is super helpful. The next thing I'm gonna get you to do is crawling. So whether you wanna crawl forward or backwards, can you crawl without excessive tension and just a nice long spine? Again, another really easy one, but not so easy. A lot of the time, if you're quite used to having your hips tucked under all the time, you might just naturally do that, okay? So we just wanna free ourselves. Making that spine work nice and beautifully. Give that a try. See if you can maintain and coordinate. And then if you get better, you can add in looking to the right and to the left. Next exercise, we're going to do a glute bridge. And depending on your level, if you feel comfortable on the floor, you can also do it single leg. You can do it with a ball. You can do it with a bench, turn it into hip thrust, whatever you want to do. All those modifications are just going to make it harder. But please, 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 apply this concept, the core stability concept. So don't tuck your abs here. Keep your spine neutral. Press, 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 press through your feet. And for some people that have really high arches, you might benefit with wearing your shoes here. And then have your hands like this, whatever floats your boat. And then, or whatever you feel hopefully most connection, press your feet into the floor as you come up. And then inhale, come down. Exhale. And come up to where you feel comfortable right now. That might be here, that might be here. Maybe you have the ability to go up higher, but we don't have to overdo it, okay? The goal is not to bring your hips completely to the sky. So just enough to the point where you feel the back of the body, you can maintain neutral spine, your ribs and pelvis are in alignment. You're doing a great job here. And then you can always check in with yourself. Are your heels in reaching distance of your fingertips? Brownie points if we can adjust there. Brownie points if we can shift our weight to hold on the right leg, then maybe the left leg. We can make this even harder by doing marches. So when we do marches, that's an even higher level because we have to try to not move our hips. Very hard. So as you can see, these very simple looking exercises really do us wonders, and they're a lot harder than we think when we try to do them with control. And also just avoiding what we might naturally want to do. So if you're very good at tucking your tail or going into a flex position, maintaining the ability to have stability and stillness from here to here is a really great thing to work on and achieve. And over time, there are so many other exercises that you can progress with, but this is just a good guide to start with right now. And just applying this a few times throughout the week, you know, and then getting good at that, like let that be your thing. Then get good at it, then add more. So I hope this helps you get off on the right start to understanding a little bit more about your core, what it actually means. And from here, you're gonna feel solid in your body.